Zara's hands are trembling as she stares at the medical reports scattered across Gabriel Sinclair's mahogany desk. The words blur together through her tears, but 3 phrases stand out like neon signs in the darkness. Stage 4. 6 weeks. Terminal. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't have seen this. The cleaning supplies lie forgotten by the door where she dropped them the moment she spotted the letterhead from Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. You weren't supposed to find that. His voice cuts through the silence like a blade, and she spins around to find Gabriel standing in the doorway of his penthouse office. Even at 34, even with the weight loss she's noticed over the past few months, even with the shadows under his steel-gray eyes, he's still the most devastatingly handsome man she's ever seen. And in 6 weeks, he'll be dead. Mr. Sinclair, I'm so sorry, I was just, she's stumbling over her words, backing away from the desk like a guilty child. Cleaning. I know. He steps into the room and closes the door behind him with a soft click that sounds like a gunshot in the oppressive silence. How much did you read? Everything. She read everything. The medical jargon, the treatment options that won't work, the letter to his attorney about updating his will. But she can't say that, can't admit that she violated his privacy so completely. I just saw the hospital name, she lies, her voice barely above a whisper. Gabriel studies her with those piercing eyes that seem to see straight through her soul. After 2 years of working in his penthouse, cleaning around him like a ghost he barely acknowledges, she knows that look. He's calculating, deciding something important. Liar. But there's no anger in his voice, just resignation. You read it all, didn't you, Zara? The way he says her name, like he's tasting it for the first time, makes her stomach flip. In 2 years, she can count on one hand the number of times he's actually spoken to her directly. Most days, she's invisible, just another piece of furniture in his perfectly curated world. Yes, she whispers, because lying to a dying man feels like the worst kind of sin. He nods slowly and moves to the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook Central Park. The late afternoon sun catches the silver threads in his dark hair, and Zara's heart clenches with the unfairness of it all. Gabriel Sinclair has everything: wealth, power, intelligence, looks that could stop traffic, and in 6 weeks, none of it will matter. Pancreatic cancer, he says to the glass, his reflection ghost-like in the afternoon light. They caught it too late. I've got maybe 6 weeks if I'm lucky, for if I'm not. I'm sorry. The words feel inadequate, pathetic. What do you say to someone who's just told you they're dying? Are you? He turns from the window, and there's something different in his expression now. Something desperate and raw that makes her pulse quicken. Or are you thinking about how this affects your job? Whether my heir will keep you on? The accusation stings because it couldn't be further from the truth. She's thinking about how unfair it is that someone so young, so vital, is facing death. She's thinking about how lonely he must be, surrounded by business associates and employees but no family, no one who truly cares if he lives or dies. She's thinking about how she's been half in love with him for 2 years and never admitted it, even to herself. I'm thinking about how sorry I am that you're going through this alone, she says, surprising herself with her honesty. Something flickers across his face, surprise, maybe gratitude, before the mask slides back into place. I'm not alone. I have doctors, nurses, a whole medical team. That's not the same thing. No, he agrees quietly. It's not. The silence stretches between them, heavy with unspoken words. Zara knows she should leave, should go back to her cleaning supplies and pretend this conversation never happened. Instead, she finds herself moving closer to him, drawn by the vulnerability he's trying so hard to hide. Is there anything I can do? The question slips out before she can stop it. Gabriel's laugh is bitter, hollow. Can you cure cancer? Add years to my life? Make me deserving of the time I have left. Deserving. She stops just a few feet away from him, close enough to see the pain etched in the lines around his eyes. What do you mean? I mean I've wasted 34 years, Zara. I've built an empire, made more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. And for what? There's no one who'll miss me when I'm gone. No one whose life I've made better. I've taken and never given anything back. That's not true. Isn't it? He moves closer, and she can smell his cologne, something expensive and masculine that makes her dizzy. Name one person whose life is better because Gabriel Sinclair exists. The answer comes without hesitation, mine. He goes very still. What? My life is better because you exist. Her cheeks flame with embarrassment, but she can't take the words back now. You gave me this job when no one else would hire me. You pay me more than I'm worth. You're just an employee. I know that. The words cut deeper than they should. But you're not the monster you think you are, Mr. Sinclair. Gabriel, he says softly. If I'm dying, you can call me Gabriel. Her name on his lips was devastating enough. His name on hers might actually kill her. Gabriel. She tests it, likes the way it feels in her mouth. You're not a monster. You don't know me, Zara. You don't know the things I've done, the people I've destroyed to build this empire. You don't know. I know you never raise your voice at your staff. I know you pay for your doorman's daughter's college tuition and think no one knows. I know you work 18-hour days and never complain. I know you're brilliant and driven and, she stops herself before she can say beautiful, before she can humiliate herself completely. Gabriel is staring at her like she's spoken in a foreign language. How do you know about Maria's tuition? I clean your office. I see the checks you write, the scholarships you fund. You help people, Gabriel. More than you know. For a moment, something like hope flickers in his eyes. Then it's gone, replaced by something darker, more desperate. I have a confession to make, he says, his voice rough. And after I tell you, you'll probably quit, and I won't blame you. Zara's heart hammers against her ribs. What kind of confession? I notice you, Zara. I've noticed you every single day for 2 years. The way you hum while you work. The way you always smell like vanilla and sunshine. The way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. I notice everything about you, and I pretend I don't because I'm your employer and you're 24 and innocent and I have no right to want you the way I do. The words hit her like a physical blow. Want. He wants her. I'm not finished. He moves closer, close enough that she has to tilt her head back to look at him. I'm dying, Zara. In 6 weeks, maybe less, I'll be gone. And I have one regret that's eating me alive. What regret? His hand comes up to cup her face, thumb brushing across her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. That I wasted 2 years pretending I didn't want to touch you. That I'll die never knowing what it feels like to hold you, to kiss you, to show you how beautiful you are. What do you think Gabriel is about to ask Zara? Could you ever imagine being in her position? Would the situation change everything for you? Let me know in the comments what you think is going through Zara's mind right now. The air between them crackles with electricity, with 2 years of suppressed attraction and the terrible urgency of borrowed time. Zara's breath comes in short gasps as she processes his confession, as she realizes that the impossible, secret dream she's harbored is real. Gabriel. She whispers, his name a prayer on her lips. I'm going to ask you something, he says, his thumb still tracing her cheek. And I want you to know you can say no. You should say no. But I'm dying and I'm selfish, and I can't leave this world without asking. Ask me, she breathes, even though every rational part of her brain is screaming warnings. Gabriel's eyes search her face, looking for any sign of fear or revulsion. Instead, he finds something that makes his breath catch, desire, warm and unmistakable in her dark brown eyes. Spend one night with me, he whispers, his forehead almost touching hers. One night where I'm not your employer and you're not my employee. Where I'm not dying and you're not forbidden. Just one night where we can pretend that time isn't running out and that wanting you isn't the most selfish thing I've ever done. The words hang between them like a bridge neither can cross back over. Zara's world tilts on its axis as she realizes what he's asking, what he's offering. One night. With Gabriel Sinclair. The man she's dreamed about in the dark hours when she thought no one would ever know her secret. She can't form words. Her heart is pounding so hard she's sure he can hear it. You're a virgin. It's not a question. Somehow he knows. I can see it in the way you look at me, the way you blush when I get too close. And I'm asking you to give me something precious, something you can never get back, because I'm too selfish to die without knowing what it feels like to be yours for one night. How do you know I'm a? The way you react when I touch you. The way your breath catches. The innocence in your eyes. His thumb traces her lower lip, and she shivers. Am I wrong? She shakes her head, unable to lie. At 24, she's never even been kissed properly. Never had time for relationships between working 3 jobs to pay for her mother's medical bills and supporting her younger sister through college. Never met anyone who made her want to explore that side of herself. Until Gabriel. I can't ask this of you, he says suddenly, dropping his hand and stepping back. It's wrong. You're innocent, and I'm dying, and what kind of man asks a virgin to? A desperate one, she interrupts, surprising herself with her boldness. A lonely one. A man who's running out of time. Zara. I have a confession too. Her voice is stronger now, steadier. I've wanted you since my first day here. I've dreamed about what it would be like if you looked at me the way you're looking at me right now. And maybe I'm not as innocent as you think, at least not in my mind. Gabriel goes very still. What are you saying? I'm saying that if you're going to die in 6 weeks, then maybe we both deserve one night of honesty. One night where we stop pretending we don't feel this. She gestures between them, at the electricity that's been crackling for 2 years. One night where we're just Gabriel and Zara, not employer and employee, not dying billionaire and virgin maid. Just us. For a long moment, he doesn't speak. Then, you don't know what you're saying. You don't understand what you'd be giving up. My virginity? She laughs, a sound somewhere between nervous and reckless. Gabriel, I'm 24 years old. I'm not saving it for my wedding night or my one true love. If I'm going to give it to someone, why not the man She stops herself before she can say love, before she can make this more complicated than it already is. The man you what? The man I care about, she finishes lamely. But Gabriel heard what she didn't say. She can see it in his eyes, the way they widen with something like wonder and terror combined. Don't, he whispers. Don't care about me, Zara. Don't make this about anything more than one night of forgetting. I can't bear the thought of you mourning me. Too late for that, she thinks. She's been halfway in love with him for 2 years. His death will destroy her regardless of what happens between them tonight. One night, she repeats. No promises, no expectations beyond that. Just one night where we both get to have something we want. Gabriel stares at her for what feels like eternity. Then slowly he nods. One night, he agrees. But not here. Not in my penthouse where you work, where you'll have to come back and remember. Somewhere else. Somewhere just for us. 3 hours later, Zara stands in the marble lobby of the Plaza Hotel, feeling like she stepped into someone else's life. She's changed out of her uniform into the only dress she owns that isn't meant for cleaning, a simple black number she bought for her sister's graduation last year. She's applied makeup with trembling hands and let her dark hair down from its usual practical bun. She feels exposed, terrified, and more alive than she's ever felt in her life. Gabriel appears beside her like a ghost, dressed in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater that makes his eyes look like storm clouds. He looks younger somehow, less like the intimidating billionaire who signs her paychecks and more like the man who just confessed to wanting her for 2 years. You came, he says softly, like he wasn't sure she would. Did you think I wouldn't? I thought you might come to your senses. His hand finds the small of her back as he guides her toward the elevator, and even through the fabric of her dress, his touch burns. I hoped you wouldn't. The elevator ride to the penthouse suite is silent except for the thundering of her heartbeat. Zara catches glimpses of their reflection in the mirrored walls. Gabriel tall and devastatingly handsome, herself small and uncertain beside him. They look like strangers. They look like they belong together. Both things are equally terrifying. The suite Gabriel has reserved is nothing like his actual penthouse. Where his home is all clean lines and cold perfection, this is warm and intimate. Soft lighting, cream-colored walls, a view of Central Park that takes her breath away. There's champagne chilling in an ice bucket, strawberries and chocolate arranged on a silver tray. It's beautiful, she whispers. Not as beautiful as you. She turns to find Gabriel watching her with an intensity that makes her knees weak. There's something different about him here, away from his office and his empire. He seems more real, more vulnerable. More like the man who's dying instead of the titan who built a business empire. I don't know what I'm doing, she admits, wrapping her arms around herself. Neither do I. He moves toward her slowly, like he's approaching a frightened animal. This isn't something I do, Zara. I don't seduce my employees. I don't ask virgins to spend the night with me. I don't. He runs a hand through his hair, messing up the perfect style. I don't let people see me like this. Like what? Scared. Desperate. Human. The confession breaks something open in her chest. She takes a step toward him, then another, until they're close enough to touch. I see you, she says simply. Not the billionaire, not the boss. I see Gabriel. The man who pays for college tuitions he doesn't think anyone knows about. The man who says please and thank you to the cleaning staff. The man who works until midnight and forgets to eat because he's so focused on his goals. You see too much. Maybe. But I like what I see. Gabriel's breath catches. Slowly, carefully, he reaches out to cup her face in his hands. If we do this, if we cross this line, there's no going back. Are you sure this is what you want? What would you do in Zara's position? Would you risk everything for one night with the man you've secretly loved, knowing he's dying? Tell me in the comments, are you team follow your heart or team protect yourself? Instead of answering with words, Zara rises on her tiptoes and presses her lips to his. The kiss is soft at first, tentative, the brush of lips against lips like a question being asked. Then Gabriel groans low in his throat and deepens it, his arms coming around her to pull her against his chest. She can feel his heart hammering against her ribs, matching the frantic rhythm of her own. When they break apart, both are breathing hard. Zara, he whispers against her forehead. My beautiful Zara. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. It's a lie. She's terrified, uncertain, completely out of her depth. But she's also more certain than she's ever been that this is right, that being here with Gabriel is exactly where she belongs, even if it's only for one night. Gabriel kisses her again, deeper this time, his hands tangling in her hair. She can taste the desperation on his lips, the knowledge that time is running out, that this is all they'll ever have. It should make her sad, but instead it makes every touch more precious, every kiss more meaningful. I want to know everything about you, he murmurs against her neck, his lips trailing fire across her skin. Your favorite color, your biggest dream, what makes you laugh, what makes you cry. I want to memorize every detail so I can take them with me when I go. The words should remind her that this is temporary, that he's leaving her whether she wants him to or not. Instead, they make her heart soar with the knowledge that he wants to know her, really know her, not just her body but her soul. Blue, she whispers. My favorite color is blue. Like your eyes when you're thinking hard about something. He pulls back to look at her, and she can see wonder in his expression. You notice the color of my eyes when I'm thinking? I notice everything about you, Gabriel. The way you tap your pen when you're concentrating. The way you loosen your tie when you're frustrated. The way you smile, really smile, not the practiced one you use for business meetings, when you think no one is watching. When do I really smile? When you're reading. There's this one spot by your window where the light hits your face just right, and sometimes when you're reading something that pleases you, you smile like you can't help yourself. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Gabriel stares at her like she's just revealed the secrets of the universe. You've been watching me read? I've been watching you do everything, she confesses, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. For 2 years, I've been completely fascinated by you. The way you move, the way you think, the way you exist in the world like you own it. I do own quite a bit of it, he says with a ghost of his usual arrogance. That's not what I mean. She traces the line of his jaw with trembling fingers. You move through the world like you belong anywhere you choose to be. Like you're comfortable in your own skin. I've always envied that about you. Comfortable in my own skin? Gabriel's laugh is bitter. Zara, I've spent my entire adult life building walls, creating distance between myself and everyone around me. I don't let people close because I don't trust them not to use my feelings against me. I've been completely alone for so long I forgot what it felt like to want someone to know the real me. And now I'm dying, and the only person I want to spend my last weeks with is a 24-year-old woman who sees through all my carefully constructed defenses like they're made of glass. His thumb brushes across her lower lip. Now I'm terrified that one night with you won't be enough, and equally terrified that it will ruin us both. Maybe we're already ruined, Zara whispers. Maybe we were ruined the moment you looked at me like I was worth seeing. Gabriel's eyes darken with something that looks like pain and desire combined. You are worth seeing, Zara. You're worth everything. Before she can respond, he's kissing her again, and this time there's nothing tentative about it. This kiss is hungry, desperate, full of 2 years of suppressed longing and the terrible urgency of borrowed time. She kisses him back with everything she has, pouring all her secret feelings into the connection between their lips. When they break apart, both are shaking. I need you to know something, Gabriel says, his voice rough with emotion. This isn't just about physical desire for me. I'm not doing this because I'm dying and want one last thrill. I'm doing this because for 2 years, you've been the bright spot in my life, and I was too much of a coward to admit it until I ran out of time. The confession hits her like a physical blow. Gabriel. Let me finish. His hands frame her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. I'm in love with you, Zara. I have been for longer than I want to admit. And I know that's not fair, I know it makes this more complicated, but I need you to know that when I touch you tonight, when I make love to you, it won't be casual for me. It will be everything. The words she's been afraid to even think hang in the air between them. Love. He loves her. The most untouchable man in New York, the billionaire who could have anyone, loves her. I love you too, she whispers, the words tumbling out before she can stop them. I've loved you for so long I forgot what it felt like not to love you. The effect of her confession on Gabriel is immediate and devastating. His entire body goes rigid, his eyes filling with something that looks like agony. Don't, he whispers. Please don't love me, Zara. It will only make this harder. Too late, she says simply. I already do. For a moment, neither of them moves. Then Gabriel is kissing her again, and she can taste tears on his lips, his or hers, she's not sure. One night, he murmurs against her mouth. We have one perfect night, and then we go back to the way things were. We have to. Why? Because I can't do this to you. I can't let you fall deeper in love with a dead man. Promise me, Zara. Promise me that after tonight, you'll let me go. She wants to promise, wants to give him the peace he's asking for. But she can't lie to him, not about this. I can't promise that, she whispers. I can promise to try. Gabriel closes his eyes like her words cause him physical pain. It will have to be enough. The hours that follow blur together like watercolors in the rain. Gabriel worships her body with a reverence that makes her feel like something sacred, something precious beyond measure. Every touch is deliberate, every kiss a promise, every whispered endearment a prayer against her skin. When he carries her to the bedroom, Zara expects to feel nervous, embarrassed by her inexperience. Instead, she feels cherished. Gabriel takes his time with her, his hands and mouth mapping every inch of her skin like he's trying to memorize her completely. You're so beautiful, he murmurs against her collarbone, his voice rough with wonder. So perfect. How did I convince myself I could keep my hands off you? Poor self-control, she manages, gasping as he finds a particularly sensitive spot at the base of her throat. His laugh is low and rich. Terrible self-control. 2 years of watching you move around my apartment in those little uniforms, bending over to dust the furniture, humming under your breath. Do you have any idea how many cold showers I've taken because of you? The image of Gabriel Sinclair, controlled, composed Gabriel, taking cold showers because of her makes heat pool low in her belly. You hid it well. I had to. You were so young, so innocent. I told myself you were off limits, that wanting you made me a monster. His lips trail down to the valley between her breasts. But I wanted you anyway. Every single day. I wanted you too, she confesses, arching into his touch. I used to time my cleaning so I'd be in your office when you had your afternoon coffee, just so I could watch you think. Dangerous thoughts for a virgin to be having about her boss. The most dangerous ones, she agrees breathlessly. When he finally joins with her, when he makes her his in the most fundamental way possible, it's with a gentleness that brings tears to her eyes. The pain is brief, overwhelmed by the sensation of completeness, of finally understanding what all the poetry and songs were about. I love you, Gabriel whispers against her ear as they move together in perfect rhythm. God help me, I love you so much. I love you too, she gasps back, her nails digging into his shoulders as sensation builds between them like a storm. When release finally crashes over them both, Gabriel buries his face in her neck and she can feel wetness against her skin. Tears of joy or sorrow, she's not sure. Maybe both. Afterward, they lie tangled together in the expensive sheets, Gabriel's arms wrapped around her like he's afraid she'll disappear. The champagne sits forgotten, the strawberries untouched. They have no appetite for anything but each other. "Tell me about your dreams," Gabriel murmurs into her hair as the first light of dawn creeps across the sky. "What dreams?" "The ones you have for your life. What you want to do, where you want to go. Tell me about the Zara who exists outside of my penthouse." It's such a simple question, but it catches her off guard. No one has ever asked her about her dreams before. Her life has been about survival, about taking care of her family, about making ends meet. Dreams have been a luxury she couldn't afford. "I don't know," she admits quietly. "I've never really thought about it." Gabriel pulls back to look at her, his eyes serious. "That's not an answer. What did you want to be when you were little? What makes you smile when no one's watching?" She's quiet for a long moment, thinking. "I wanted to be a teacher," she finally says. "When I was small, before my father left and everything fell apart, I wanted to teach kindergarten. I loved the idea of being the first person to show children that learning could be magical." "What stopped you?" "Life. Money. Reality." She traces patterns on his chest with her fingertip. "My mom got sick when I was 18. Lupus. The medical bills were crushing. I had to work instead of going to college, had to help support my little sister. Teaching requires a degree I can't afford." "You could still do it," Gabriel says softly. "It's not too late." "It is, though. I'm 24 with no education beyond high school, no money for college, no time to pursue dreams. Some ships just sail without you." Gabriel is quiet for so long she thinks he might have fallen asleep. "Then, what if I told you that ship could come back?" "What do you mean?" "What if I told you there was money for college? Money for your mother's medical bills, for your sister's education, for all the things you've sacrificed for your family?" Zara sits up, suddenly alert. "Gabriel, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm rich beyond measure and dying without heirs. I'm saying money is meaningless when you can't take it with you." His hand comes up to cup her face. "I'm saying I want to give you everything you've ever wanted." "No." She pulls away from his touch, her heart hammering with panic. "No, Gabriel, that's not. I didn't sleep with you for money. This isn't some transaction where you pay me for services rendered. That's not what I meant." "Isn't it?" She scrambles out of bed, suddenly ashamed of her nakedness, grabbing one of the hotel robes. "Sleep with the dying billionaire and get a college fund? Is that what this was about for you?" "Zara, stop." Gabriel sits up, his eyes flashing with hurt. "You know that's not what this is." "Do I? Because it sounds an awful lot like you're trying to buy me." "I'm trying to take care of you." He's out of bed now too, magnificently naked and completely unashamed. "I'm trying to make sure that when I'm gone, you have the life you deserve instead of cleaning other people's houses for the rest of your life." "And what if I like cleaning houses? What if I'm proud of the work I do?" "Are you? Are you really proud of scrubbing toilets and dusting furniture when you could be teaching children?" The words hit like a slap. "You arrogant bastard." Gabriel's face goes white. "Zara. You think you can just throw money at me and fix my life? You think I'm some charity case that needs rescuing?" Tears are streaming down her face now, fury and heartbreak warring in her chest. "I work hard for what I have. I take care of my family with honest labor, and there's nothing shameful about that." "I know that. I didn't mean." "You meant exactly what you said. Poor little Zara, cleaning houses when she could be so much more." "Well, guess what, Gabriel? I am so much more, but not because of money or education or any of the things you think matter. I'm more because I love fiercely and work hard and take care of the people who depend on me." "You're right." Gabriel's voice is quiet, defeated. "You're absolutely right, and I'm an ass. I'm sorry." The fight goes out of her as quickly as it came, leaving her deflated and exhausted. "I know you meant well. But I can't, I won't be your charity project, Gabriel. Not even if you're dying. It's not charity." He moves toward her carefully, like she might bolt. It's love. It's wanting the woman I love to have every opportunity, every chance at happiness. Even if those chances don't include you? The question hangs in the air between them, heavy with meaning. Gabriel's face crumples with something that looks like agony. Especially if they don't include me. They don't speak during the cab ride back to Gabriel's penthouse. Zara stares out the window at the city waking up, at people starting their ordinary Thursday morning with no idea that her entire world has shifted on its axis. Everything looks the same, but nothing feels the same. She can still feel Gabriel's hands on her skin, can still taste his kisses, can still hear him saying he loves her. She can also still hear him trying to buy her way out of his life. The cab pulls up to the building, and Gabriel pays the driver while Zara clutches her small purse and tries to figure out how she's supposed to go back to being his employee after everything that's happened between them. Zara. Gabriel's voice stops her as she reaches for the cab door handle. Don't, she says without looking at him. Please. Let's go back to the way things were. Can we? Can you really pretend this never happened? She finally turns to meet his eyes, and the raw pain she sees there almost breaks her resolve. Almost. We have to, she whispers. It's what you wanted, remember? One night, then back to normal. That was before. Before what? Before you fell in love with me? You already knew that, Gabriel. You told me last night that you'd been in love with me for 2 years. She takes a shaky breath. The only thing that's changed is that now you know I love you back, and that terrifies you. It should terrify you too. It does. She reaches for the door handle again. That's why we're going back to the way things were. But when they enter the penthouse together, both still wearing yesterday's clothes, both obviously having spent the night elsewhere, they find they're not alone. A woman sits in Gabriel's living room like she owns the place, tall, blonde, impeccably dressed in a way that screams old money and newer cosmetic surgery. She rises when they enter, her ice blue eyes taking in their disheveled appearance with obvious disapproval. Hello, Gabriel, she says in a voice like crystal wind chimes. Surprised to see me? Gabriel goes rigid beside Zara. Victoria, what are you doing here? Can't a girl visit her fiancé? Victoria's smile is sharp as a blade. The word hits Zara like a physical blow. Fiancé. Gabriel is engaged. Was engaged? She looks between Gabriel and the elegant woman, trying to process this new information while her heart crumbles in her chest. Ex-fiancé, Gabriel corrects, his voice flat. We broke up 6 months ago, remember? A temporary setback. Daddy's lawyers have been talking to your lawyers, and we think we can work out our little disagreement. Victoria's gaze shifts to Zara, and her expression turns predatory. Though I see you've been amusing yourself with the help in the meantime. Don't. Gabriel's voice carries a warning that would terrify most people, but Victoria just laughs. Oh please. Do you think I care that you're slumming? Men have needs, especially when they're facing mortality. I understand that. She moves closer to Gabriel, her hand coming up to rest on his chest in a gesture of casual ownership. But playtime is over now, darling. We have a wedding to plan. We have nothing to plan, Gabriel says through gritted teeth. We're done, Victoria. We've been done. Because of your little cancer scare? Gabriel, be reasonable. Yes, you're sick, but there are treatments, experimental drugs. Daddy's foundation has connections at every major research hospital in the world. We can beat this together. Do you think Victoria knows something about Gabriel's condition that could change everything? What would you do if you were Zara right now? Fight for him or walk away? Let me know in the comments. Zara feels like she's watching a tennis match, her head turning back and forth between Gabriel and Victoria as they speak about his life like she's not even there. The casual way Victoria talks about his cancer, like it's an inconvenience to be managed rather than a death sentence, makes her stomach turn. The doctors have been very clear about my prognosis, Gabriel says coldly. There are no treatments that will help at this stage. The doctors you've been seeing, perhaps. But Daddy knows specialists who work miracles. Victoria's smile turns triumphant. Dr. Harrison at Johns Hopkins has been developing a new immunotherapy protocol. It's experimental, not available to the general public, but for the right price. Gabriel goes very still. What are you saying? I'm saying there might be hope after all. Real hope, not just experimental treatments that buy you a few extra months. Victoria's hand slides up to cup his face. But we need to move quickly, and we need to be married for you to access the treatment. Something about next of kin privileges and insurance regulations. Zara watches Gabriel's face transform as Victoria speaks, sees hope bloom in his eyes like a flower in fast-forward photography. It's beautiful and terrible, and she knows with crystal clarity that she's about to lose him. You're lying, Gabriel says, but there's no conviction in his voice. Call Dr. Harrison yourself. I have his direct number. Victoria pulls out her phone with a flourish. But Gabriel, the window for this treatment is small. We need to act within the next 2 weeks if you want to have any chance. 2 weeks. Gabriel was supposed to have 6 weeks left, and now Victoria is offering him hope of years, decades, a full life. All he has to do is marry his ex-fiancée, the woman he clearly doesn't love, but who can give him what Zara never could, a future. Zara takes a step backward, then another, moving toward the door. Neither Gabriel nor Victoria notices. They're too caught up in their discussion of doctors and treatments and possibilities. Zara. Gabriel's voice stops her at the threshold. When she turns, she sees him looking at her with something like desperation. Don't go. You need to make some calls, she says quietly. Important calls. I have work to do. Zara. Who is this person, and why is she still here? Victoria interrupts, her voice sharp with annoyance. Gabriel stops, and Zara can see him struggling with how to define what she is to him. Employee? Lover? The woman he loves but can't have? She works for me. The words cut deeper than Zara expected. After everything they've shared, everything they've confessed to each other, she's still just an employee to him when it matters. Then perhaps she should get back to work instead of eavesdropping on private conversations, Victoria says with ice in her voice. You're right, Zara says before Gabriel can respond. I should get back to work. She turns and walks toward the supply closet where she keeps her cleaning supplies, her back straight and her head high even though she feels like she's drowning. Behind her, she can hear Victoria's voice, bright and victorious as she talks about wedding plans and treatment schedules and all the ways she's going to save Gabriel's life. Zara retrieves her supplies and begins to clean the kitchen with mechanical precision. She wipes down counters that are already spotless, organizes cabinets that don't need organizing, anything to keep her hands busy while her heart breaks into a million pieces. She can hear Gabriel and Victoria in the living room, their voices low but intense. She can't make out the words, but she doesn't need to. She knows what they're discussing: hope, future, the chance for Gabriel to live instead of die. How can she compete with that? How can one night of love, no matter how perfect, compare to the promise of years? Zara. She turns to find Gabriel standing in the kitchen doorway, his face pale and strained. Victoria is nowhere to be seen. Where's your fiancé? The word tastes bitter in her mouth. Ex-fiancé. And she's making calls, trying to reach Dr. Harrison. Gabriel moves closer, and Zara can see the war being fought in his eyes, hope warring with guilt, desperation battling with love. Zara, if this treatment is real, then you should take it, she says simply. Just like that. What did you expect? That I'd try to talk you out of it? That I'd rather you die than marry someone else? She turns back to the counter, scrubbing at an imaginary stain because she can't bear to look at him. I love you, Gabriel. That means I want you to live, even if it's not with me. Victoria and I, there's nothing between us anymore. There hasn't been for months. If I marry her, it would be purely for the treatment access. A marriage of convenience. Yes. Zara finally turns to face him, and she can see the plea in his eyes, the desperate need for her to understand and forgive what he's about to do. And what about us? She asks quietly. Gabriel's face crumples. There can't be an us, Zara. Not if I want to live. Victoria was very clear about the terms: a real marriage, a committed relationship, not some arrangement where I keep a mistress on the side. I wouldn't want to be your mistress anyway. I know. God, I know. You deserve so much more than that. I deserve honesty, at least. She sets down her cleaning cloth and faces him fully. Are you going to marry her? For a long moment, Gabriel doesn't answer. Then quietly, if the treatment is real, if it can save my life. Yes. I think I am. The words hit her like a physical blow, even though she was expecting them. Hearing them out loud makes it real in a way that cuts straight through her soul. Then there's nothing more to say. Zara, please. No. She holds up a hand to stop him. Don't make this harder than it has to be. You're choosing life over love, and I understand that. I even respect it. But I can't be here while you plan your wedding to another woman. You're quitting. The hope in his voice, that she might stay, might torture herself by watching him marry Victoria, makes her angry. I'm quitting, she confirms. I'll finish out the day, but after that, I'm done. Where will you go? What will you do? I'll figure it out. I always do. Gabriel stares at her for a long moment, and she can see him struggling with something. Finally, the money. The offer I made last night, it still stands. For college, for your mother's medical bills, for whatever you need. No. Zara, please. Let me do this one thing for you. Let me help. No, she says more firmly. I told you last night, I won't be your charity project. Not now, not ever. It's not charity. It's guilt money. You know it, and I know it. She picks up her cleaning supplies, preparing to move to another room. Keep your money, Gabriel. Use it to make Victoria happy. I'll make my own way. As she reaches the doorway, Gabriel's voice stops her one last time. I love you. She doesn't turn around, doesn't trust herself to maintain her composure if she sees his face. I love you too, she whispers. That's why I'm letting you go. Then she walks away, leaving Gabriel standing alone in his perfect kitchen, surrounded by all his wealth and power, and she doesn't look back. In the living room, Victoria is on the phone, her voice bright and animated as she discusses treatment protocols and wedding venues with equal enthusiasm. She glances up as Zara passes, and there's something like satisfaction in her ice-blue eyes. Zara keeps walking, keeps moving, because if she stops, if she thinks too hard about what she's lost, she's afraid she'll collapse right there on Gabriel's imported marble floors. She has 6 hours left in this penthouse, 6 hours to memorize every detail before she walks out of Gabriel Sinclair's life forever. She intends to make them count. Zara spends her final day in Gabriel's penthouse like a ghost haunting her own life. She cleans with methodical precision, dusting furniture she's dusted 1,000 times before, organizing spaces that exist in perfect order. Every surface, every corner holds a memory now, 2 years of stolen glances and suppressed feelings, and one perfect night that changed everything. Gabriel doesn't emerge from his office until late afternoon. When he does, he looks haggard, like he hasn't slept. His hair is disheveled, his usually perfect shirt wrinkled, and there are shadows under his eyes that speak of hours spent wrestling with impossible choices. Victoria left hours ago, claiming she needed to make arrangements, and promising to return with concrete information about the treatment. The penthouse feels different without her predatory presence, but the damage is done. The future has been decided. How are the calls going? Zara asks when Gabriel appears in the kitchen where she's unnecessarily reorganizing his spice cabinet. Dr. Harrison is difficult to reach, Gabriel says carefully. His office says he's in surgery, but they've taken a message. Something in his tone makes her look at him more closely. There's doubt in his eyes, uncertainty warring with desperate hope. Gabriel, she says softly. What is it? I called Johns Hopkins directly. Asked to speak to someone about Dr. Harrison's immunotherapy trials. Gabriel leans against the counter, suddenly looking older than his 34 years. They've never heard of him. Zara's hand still on the paprika jar she was holding. What do you mean they've never heard of him? I mean there's no Dr. Harrison in their oncology department. There's no experimental immunotherapy program for pancreatic cancer. There's. Gabriel's voice breaks slightly. There's nothing, Zara. Victoria was lying. The words hang in the air between them like a death sentence. Zara sets down the spice jar with careful precision, her mind racing. Maybe she got the hospital wrong? Maybe it's a different Dr. Harrison at a different facility. I called 6 hospitals, 3 research centers. I even called the FDA to ask about experimental protocols. Gabriel's laugh is bitter, broken. Victoria's miracle cure doesn't exist, Zara. She lied about all of it. But why? Even as Zara asks the question, she thinks she knows the answer. Because she wants me back, and she was willing to lie about the one thing that could make me consider it. Gabriel runs his hands through his hair, messing it up even more. She knew I'd never marry her for love, so she dangled hope in front of me like a carrot. The cruelty of it takes Zara's breath away. To lie about a cure, to give false hope to a dying man, to manipulate his desperation. What kind of person does that? I'm sorry, she whispers, because what else is there to say? Are you? Gabriel's eyes meet hers, and there's something raw and desperate in them. Because part of me is relieved, Zara. Part of me is grateful that I don't have to choose between life and love anymore. Gabriel. I was going to marry her. I was going to spend whatever time I have left with a woman I don't love, pretending to be happy while thinking about you every day. He moves closer, and Zara can see the pain etched in every line of his face. I was going to let you walk away because I thought it was the noble thing to do, the right thing to do. But it would have killed me just as surely as the cancer. You don't have to marry her now. No, I don't. Gabriel reaches out to cup her face, his thumb brushing across her cheekbone. But you're still leaving. You're still walking out of my life, and I still only have 6 weeks left. So what's changed, really? Everything, Zara thinks. Everything has changed. I don't know, she admits. Stay, Gabriel whispers. Don't quit. Don't leave me to die alone, surrounded by business associates and doctors who see me as a case study instead of a person. Gabriel. I'm not asking you to watch me waste away. I'm not asking you to become my nurse or my caretaker. I'm asking you to be with me. Really with me. For whatever time we have left. The offer hangs between them, tempting and terrifying in equal measure. 6 weeks. She could have 6 weeks with the man she loves, 6 weeks of stolen happiness before the inevitable end. What kind of life is that? She asks. Knowing every day that you're going to leave me? Counting down the time like a clock ticking toward midnight. A short one, Gabriel admits. But a real one. An honest one. A life where we don't pretend we don't love each other, where we don't waste time on lies and barriers and the kind of pride that keeps us apart. And when you die, what happens to me then? Gabriel's face crumples with pain. I don't know. I wish I could promise you that it won't destroy you, that you'll be able to move on and find someone else and be happy. But I can't promise that, because losing you is going to destroy me, and I can't imagine it working any differently in reverse. His honesty is brutal and beautiful, cutting through her chest like a blade made of truth. I need time to think, she says finally. How much time? I don't know. A few days? A week? Gabriel nods, though she can see it costs him. Take all the time you need. But Zara? Don't take too long. We don't have very much of it. 3 days later, Zara has made her decision. She's going to stay. She's going to love Gabriel Sinclair with everything she has for whatever time they have left, consequences be damned. Life is short and unpredictable, and she refuses to spend the rest of hers regretting the love she was too afraid to claim. She's walking up to Gabriel's building, her heart light with possibility for the first time in days, when she sees the crowd. There are photographers outside, dozens of them, cameras flashing like strobe lights. News vans line the street, their satellite dishes reaching toward the sky like mechanical flowers seeking the sun. Police barriers keep the crowd back, but just barely. Zara's blood turns to ice in her veins. Something is wrong. Terribly, catastrophically wrong. She pushes through the crowd, trying to reach the building entrance, when she hears a photographer shouting questions. Mr. Sinclair, is it true about the embezzlement charges? How long have you been stealing from your investors? What do you say to the families whose retirement funds you've destroyed? Embezzlement. Stealing. The words hit Zara like physical blows as she fights her way toward the building. Gabriel, accused of embezzlement? It's impossible. He's many things, arrogant, controlling, sometimes cold, but he's not a thief. She makes it past the barriers by claiming to be building staff, which is technically true even if she doesn't work there anymore. The doorman recognizes her and waves her through, his face grim. It's been like this all morning, he tells her as they ride the elevator to Gabriel's penthouse. Started around 6 a.m. when the story broke. FBI showed up an hour later. FBI. Zara's knees go weak. What story? What's happening? Someone leaked documents to the press. Financial records, email exchanges, bank transfers. They're saying Mr. Sinclair has been using his company as a personal piggy bank, stealing money from investor accounts to fund his lifestyle. The elevator doors open, and Zara steps into chaos. Gabriel's penthouse is full of people in dark suits and serious expressions. FBI agents, she realizes, going through his personal belongings like they're evidence in a crime scene. Gabriel himself sits in his living room chair like a king dethroned, his lawyer beside him speaking in urgent whispers. He looks up when Zara enters, and the devastation in his eyes nearly brings her to her knees. "You shouldn't be here," he says quietly. "What's happening? What are they saying you did?" "According to the evidence, I've been embezzling money from my company for the past 5 years. Skimming from investor accounts, inflating my personal expenses, using company funds for unauthorized purposes." Gabriel's voice is flat, emotionless. The documents are quite convincing. "But you didn't do it." It's not a question. Zara knows Gabriel, has seen him work, has watched him agonize over every business decision. He would never steal, never betray the trust of his investors. "No," Gabriel agrees. "I didn't do it. But someone did, and they made it look like me." What do you think is really happening here? Who would have access to Gabriel's financial records and the ability to frame him so completely? Share your theories in the comments. I have a feeling this goes deeper than it appears. Who would do this to you? Gabriel's laugh is bitter, broken. "Someone with access to my company's financial systems. Someone who knows my business well enough to make the forgeries believable. Someone with motive to destroy me." Even as he says it, Zara is putting the pieces together. Victoria's sudden appearance with promises of miracle cures. Her insistence that Gabriel marry her immediately. Her obvious satisfaction when she thought she was winning him back. "Victoria," Zara breathes. Gabriel nods grimly. "Victoria's father owns a significant share in my company. Has for years. He's always wanted more control, more influence over my decisions. And Victoria." Gabriel's hands clench into fists. Victoria doesn't handle rejection well. But how could she? She had access to everything when we were engaged. Passwords, financial records, company documents. I trusted her completely. Gabriel's voice cracks on the last word. "I gave her everything she needed to destroy me, and I was too blind to see it coming." The scope of the betrayal is staggering. Victoria didn't just lie about a miracle cure, she systematically destroyed Gabriel's life, his reputation, his company. She took everything from him and then offered to save him, knowing all along that salvation was a lie. "The timing is perfect," Gabriel continues, his voice growing harder. "The leak happened right after I refused to marry her. Right after her miracle cure fell apart. This isn't about money, Zara. This is revenge. Can you prove it? Can you show that she forged the documents?" "Maybe. Eventually. But by then, the damage will be done. My company's stock has already crashed. Investors are pulling out. The board is calling for my resignation." Gabriel looks around at the FBI agents cataloging his possessions. "Even if I'm eventually cleared of all charges, my reputation is ruined. My life's work is destroyed." "I'm sorry," Zara whispers, because the words feel inadequate, but she doesn't know what else to say. "Are you?" Gabriel's eyes meet hers, and there's something dangerous in them. "Because now I have nothing left to lose, Zara. No company, no reputation, no future. Just a cancer diagnosis and whatever time I have left." "Gabriel." "I'm free," he says, and there's something almost manic in his voice. "For the first time in my adult life, I'm completely free. No obligations, no responsibilities, no empire to maintain. Victoria wanted to destroy me? Congratulations. She succeeded. But she also freed me from everything that was keeping us apart." The agents are getting closer, their voices growing louder as they catalog evidence. Gabriel's lawyer is making urgent gestures, clearly wanting to move him somewhere more private for their conversation. "I have to go," Gabriel says, standing slowly. My lawyer wants to get ahead of this, start building our defense. But Zara. Yes. When this is over, when the dust settles and the truth comes out, I'm going to have nothing left except the time I have remaining. And I want to spend every second of it with you. Gabriel. I love you. I'm dying, I'm probably going to prison first, and I have absolutely nothing to offer you except my heart. But it's yours, completely and unconditionally, for whatever that's worth. Before Zara can respond, Gabriel's lawyer is pulling him away, leading him toward a back exit where they can avoid the photographers. Gabriel looks back at her once, and the love and desperation in his eyes nearly stops her heart. Then he's gone, and Zara is left standing in his ruined penthouse, surrounded by federal agents and the wreckage of the life they might have had together. Miss. One of the agents approaches her, notebook in hand. I'm going to need to ask you some questions about your relationship with Mr. Sinclair. My relationship? You're Zara-chan, correct? Mr. Sinclair's housekeeper. Former housekeeper, she corrects automatically. And you were with Mr. Sinclair the night of July 15th? The Plaza Hotel has security footage of you both entering and leaving together. Zara's blood turns to ice. They know about their night together. Somehow, in the course of investigating Gabriel's alleged crimes, they've uncovered the most private, precious moment of her life. We're going to need you to come in for questioning, the agent continues. There are some financial transactions on Mr. Sinclair's personal accounts that correspond with your employment dates. We need to understand the nature of your relationship and whether you were aware of any illegal activities. You think I was involved? The question comes out as a whisper. We think you might have information that could help our investigation, knowingly or unknowingly. As the agent continues talking about interviews and legal procedures, Zara realizes with dawning horror that Victoria's revenge is even more comprehensive than she imagined. Not only has she destroyed Gabriel's life and business, she's made sure that anyone close to him will be dragged down as well. Including Zara. The woman Gabriel loves, the one person who might have stood by him through his final weeks, is now a potential co-conspirator in his alleged crimes. Their one perfect night together, the most beautiful moment of Zara's life, has become evidence in a federal investigation. Victoria didn't just destroy Gabriel's empire. She destroyed any chance he had of finding comfort and love in his final weeks. She made sure he would die alone, abandoned by everyone who might have cared for him. It's the most cruel and comprehensive revenge Zara has ever witnessed. And as she's led away for questioning, as photographers capture her face and turn her into tomorrow's headline, Zara realizes that Victoria has won completely. Gabriel is ruined, his company destroyed, his reputation in tatters. And Zara, the woman he loves, has been turned into a weapon against him whether she wants to be or not. The devastation is complete, total, absolutely perfect in its cruelty. Just the way Victoria planned it. The FBI field office is exactly as cold and unwelcoming as Zara expected. She sits in a gray room with gray walls and gray furniture, across from two agents who look at her like she's either a criminal or a victim. They haven't decided which yet. Let's go over this again, Agent Morrison says, his voice patient but firm. You worked for Gabriel Sinclair for 2 years as his housekeeper. Yes. And during that time, you had access to his penthouse, his personal spaces, his office. I cleaned his office, yes. But I didn't go through his papers or his computer. I'm not that kind of person. What kind of person is that, Miss Chun? The question feels like a trap. The kind who violates their employer's privacy. Agent Rodriguez, Morrison's partner, leans forward. But you did violate his privacy, didn't you? On July 12th, 3 days before your night at the Plaza Hotel. Zara's stomach drops. They know about the medical report. Somehow, they know she saw Gabriel's cancer diagnosis. I found some papers by accident while I was cleaning. I didn't mean to see them. Medical records, Morrison clarifies. Specifically, a terminal cancer diagnosis. Yes. And how did that make you feel, Miss Chun? Learning that your employer was dying. Sad. Sorry for him. Sorry enough to comfort him? The way he says it makes her skin crawl. Like her feelings for Gabriel, her love for him, are something dirty and manipulative. I cared about him. Cared about him, or cared about his money? I beg your pardon? Rodriguez slides a stack of papers across the table. Bank statements, Zara realizes. Her bank statements. These show a deposit of $50,000 into your account on July 16th, the day after your night with Mr. Sinclair. Care to explain that? Zara stares at the papers, her mind reeling. $50,000. She's never seen that much money in her life, certainly never had it in her bank account. I don't know what this is, she says honestly. I never received any money from Gabriel. I never. So you're saying Mr. Sinclair deposited $50,000 into your account without your knowledge? I'm saying I don't know anything about this money. I've never seen these bank statements before. Morrison and Rodriguez exchange a look that clearly says they don't believe her. Miss Chun, Morrison says carefully, we have evidence that suggests Mr. Sinclair has been embezzling money from his company for years. We also have evidence that he made significant payments to various individuals, including you. Now you can either help us understand the nature of these payments, or you can continue to claim ignorance and risk being charged as an accessory. Accessory to what? I didn't do anything wrong. Did you know about Mr. Sinclair's illegal activities? He didn't commit any illegal activities. Did he ever ask you to carry messages, deliver packages, or perform any tasks outside your normal cleaning duties? No. Did he ever give you gifts, money, or other compensation beyond your regular salary? No. Did you ever witness meetings, phone calls, or conversations that seemed unusual or secretive? No. Zara's voice is getting louder, more desperate. I cleaned his apartment and minded my own business. I didn't spy on him, I didn't help him steal money, and I didn't know about any embezzlement because there wasn't any embezzlement to know about. Rodriguez leans back in his chair, studying her with cold eyes. Miss Chun, a man doesn't deposit $50,000 into his housekeeper's account for no reason. Either you provided services beyond cleaning, or you helped him hide money, or you knew something that made you valuable to him. Which is it? The insinuation in his voice makes Zara feel sick. They think she slept with Gabriel for money. They think their one perfect night, their confession of love, their desperate attempt to find happiness in the face of death, was a transaction. I want a lawyer, she says quietly. That's your right, Morrison agrees. But Miss Chun, if you're innocent, if you really didn't know about Mr. Sinclair's activities, then helping us understand your relationship with him is the best way to prove that. I've told you everything. I worked for him, I cared about him, and I never took money from him or helped him steal money or did anything except clean his apartment and try to stay invisible. Then explain the $50,000. I can't explain it because I don't know anything about it. The agents exchange another look, and Zara realizes with growing horror that nothing she says will convince them. They've already decided she's guilty of something, and they're just trying to figure out what. We're going to need you to surrender your passport, Rodriguez says, pulling out another form. And we're going to need you to remain available for further questioning. Am I under arrest? Not at this time. But Miss Chen? I'd strongly advise you to get that lawyer. And I'd strongly advise you to think very carefully about whether there's anything else you want to tell us about your relationship with Gabriel Sinclair. As Zara signs the forms with shaking hands, as she promises to remain in the city and available for questioning, as she hands over her passport like a criminal, she realizes that Victoria's revenge is even more sophisticated than she imagined. It's not enough to destroy Gabriel's reputation and company. It's not enough to ensure he dies alone and disgraced. Victoria has made sure that anyone who might love him, anyone who might stand by him, will be too busy defending themselves to offer comfort. The $50,000 in Zara's account, money she never saw, never knew about, never wanted, is the perfect final touch. It makes her look like a gold digger at best, an accomplice at worst. It ensures that even if Gabriel wanted to reach out to her, even if he wanted to spend his final weeks with her, she would be radioactive. Loving Gabriel Sinclair has become a liability that could destroy her life. As Zara walks out of the FBI building into the harsh afternoon sunlight, as photographers capture her face and shout questions about her relationship with a disgraced billionaire, she realizes that Victoria has achieved the impossible. She's made love itself into a weapon. The next 2 weeks pass in a blur of legal meetings, media scrutiny, and suffocating isolation. Zara's face is plastered across every tabloid in the city. Billionaire's secret lover, the maid who knew too much, Cancer Con, did she help him steal millions? She can't leave her small apartment without being followed by photographers. Her phone rings constantly with reporters wanting statements, lawyers wanting depositions, and strangers wanting to know how it feels to be involved with a criminal. She stops answering altogether. Her mother calls from Phoenix, crying and confused. "Zara, what's happening? The news is saying terrible things about you. They're saying you stole money." "I didn't steal anything, Mama." "But they're saying a lot of things. None of them are true." But even as she says it, Zara can hear the doubt in her mother's voice. If her own family doesn't believe her, how can she expect strangers to? Her sister Emma calls too, her voice tight with fear. "Zara, there are reporters at my school. They're asking my professors about you, about our family. They want to know if you've been sending us money we can't account for." "Have you been sending us money we can't account for?" The question hits like a slap. "Emma, you know I haven't. You know everything I send comes from my salary." "I know that. But Zara, they're making it sound like you've been living some secret life, like you've been involved in things." Emma's voice breaks. "I'm scared. What if they think I'm involved too?" That night, Zara sits in her dark apartment, staring at the stack of legal documents her court-appointed lawyer left for her. The evidence against Gabriel seems overwhelming: bank transfers, email communications, financial records that paint a picture of systematic embezzlement spanning 5 years. But Zara knows Gabriel. She's seen him work, seen his integrity, seen the way he agonizes over every business decision. The man in these documents, cold, calculating, stealing from retirees and families, isn't the Gabriel she knows. Which means either she's been completely wrong about him for 2 years, or someone has gone to extraordinary lengths to frame him. She thinks about Victoria's ice-blue eyes, her satisfied smile when she thought she was winning Gabriel back. The woman who would lie about a miracle cure to manipulate a dying man, would she also frame him for embezzlement? But the evidence is so comprehensive, so detailed. It would take incredible sophistication to fake financial records spanning 5 years, to forge email communications that forensic experts have authenticated. Unless Zara remembers something Gabriel mentioned months ago, a conversation she overheard about his company's new digital security system. He'd been frustrated because the implementation was taking longer than expected, something about needing to coordinate with existing financial software. Who had been managing that transition? Who would have had access to both old and new systems, the ability to manipulate records across multiple platforms? She reaches for her laptop and begins searching news articles about Gabriel's company, looking for anything about the security upgrade, the management team, the people who would have had the access and expertise to orchestrate such an elaborate frame-up. What she finds makes her blood run cold. Victoria's father, Richard Hartford, doesn't just own shares in Gabriel's company. His corporation, Hartford Technologies, was the contractor hired to implement the new security system. The same system that would have given them unprecedented access to Gabriel's financial records, the ability to manipulate them undetected. The timeline matches perfectly. The security implementation began 6 months ago, right around the time Gabriel broke up with Victoria. The fabricated evidence of embezzlement spans exactly the period when Hartford Technologies had administrative access to Gabriel's systems. It's not just revenge. It's corporate espionage disguised as personal vendetta. Zara stares at her computer screen, her heart pounding. She's not a lawyer or a forensic accountant, but even she can see the pattern. The question is, what can she do about it? Gabriel is in federal custody, awaiting trial. His assets are frozen, his company dissolved, his reputation destroyed. Even if she could prove Hartford Technologies manipulated the evidence, who would believe her? She's just the housekeeper who's already been painted as a co-conspirator. But she has to try. For Gabriel, for the truth, for the chance that love might survive even this. She picks up her phone and calls the one person who might be able to help. Rodriguez. "Agent Rodriguez? This is Zara Chun." "Miss Chun, have you decided to tell us the truth about your relationship with Gabriel Sinclair?" "I've told you the truth. But I think I know who hasn't." There's a pause. "I'm listening." "Have you investigated Hartford Technologies?" Richard Hartford's company was responsible for implementing Gabriel's new security system. They had administrative access to his financial records for 6 months, exactly the period when the alleged embezzlement took place. "Miss Chun, We've thoroughly investigated all of Mr. Sinclair's business relationships. Have you? Or have you just accepted their cooperation as evidence of innocence? Zara takes a deep breath. Agent Rodriguez, Victoria Hartford lied to Gabriel about a miracle cancer treatment to try to manipulate him into marriage. When that didn't work, she destroyed his life instead. What if the embezzlement evidence was fabricated by the same people who had the access and expertise to make it undetectable? Another pause, longer this time. That's a serious accusation, Miss Chun. It's a serious crime. Gabriel Sinclair is dying, Agent Rodriguez. Even if you eventually discover the truth, he'll be dead before he can enjoy his vindication. But if I'm right, if Hartford Technologies fabricated this evidence, then you're not just prosecuting an innocent man, you're letting the real criminals get away with corporate espionage and fraud. What do you want me to do? Look deeper. Question Hartford's access to Gabriel's systems. Examine the timing of the security implementation versus the alleged crimes. And ask yourself this: what are the odds that a man facing terminal cancer would suddenly start embezzling money he'll never live to spend? 3 days later, Zara gets a call that changes everything. Miss Chen? This is Agent Morrison. We need you to come in. Am I being charged? No. We need your help. The FBI office looks the same, but the atmosphere is completely different. Instead of being led to the gray interrogation room, Zara is taken to a conference room where Agent Rodriguez sits surrounded by computer printouts, financial documents, and technical reports. Miss Chun, Rodriguez says when she enters, you were right. The words hit her like a physical blow. What? Hartford Technologies. We brought in forensic accountants to examine their access logs, cross-reference them with the alleged embezzlement transactions. The correlation is significant. Morrison joins them, carrying a thick folder. It's sophisticated, probably the most elaborate financial fraud we've ever seen. They used their administrative access to create false transactions, backdate records, even plant fabricated emails in Gabriel Sinclair's company servers. It would have been undetectable if we hadn't known to look for it. So Gabriel is innocent. Gabriel Sinclair is completely innocent, Rodriguez confirms. The real question is whether we can prove it in court. Hartford Technologies covered their tracks well. We have circumstantial evidence, timeline correlations, but proving deliberate fraud versus system errors or coincidences will be challenging. What about Victoria? She lied about the cancer treatment, tried to manipulate Gabriel into marriage. Lying about medical treatments isn't a federal crime, Morrison says grimly. And proving that she orchestrated the financial fraud through her father's company will be difficult. She was careful to keep her hands clean. Zara feels her hope deflating. So they get away with it? Maybe. Unless. Rodriguez looks at Morrison, who nods. Unless you're willing to help us. How? Victoria Hartford doesn't know we've uncovered the fraud. As far as she knows, her plan worked perfectly. Gabriel is disgraced, his company is destroyed, and you're viewed as his accomplice. Rodriguez leans forward. But what if she thought you had evidence that could expose her? What if she believed you were a threat to her perfect revenge? Understanding dawns slowly. You want me to confront her. We want you to wear a wire and have a conversation with her. Get her to admit what she did, how she did it. Give us the evidence we need to put both her and her father away for financial fraud and conspiracy. That's dangerous, Morrison adds. Victoria Hartford has already proven she's willing to destroy lives to get what she wants. If she realizes you're trying to expose her, she could try to hurt me. She could try. But Miss Chun, you're the only person who can do this. Gabriel Sinclair is facing federal charges that could put him in prison for the rest of his life, however long that is. You're the only one who can save him. What would you do in Zara's position? Would you risk everything to save the man you love, even if it means facing down someone who's already destroyed so much? Let me know in the comments. Sometimes love requires the ultimate courage. The decision should be harder. Zara should be terrified, should think about her own safety, her own future. Instead, she thinks about Gabriel sitting in a federal holding cell, dying of cancer while facing charges for crimes he didn't commit. She thinks about Victoria's satisfied smile, her casual cruelty, her willingness to lie about miracle cures to manipulate a desperate man. I'll do it, she says. Miss Chun. I'll do it. What do you need me to do? Rodriguez and Morrison exchange a look. We need you to convince Victoria that you have evidence, something that could expose her father's involvement in the fraud. Make her think you're willing to sell that evidence to the highest bidder. Why would she believe that? Because she thinks you're motivated by money. She planted $50,000 in your account to make you look like a gold digger, remember? Play into that. Make her think you want to cash in on what you know. And if she doesn't take the bait? Then Gabriel Sinclair goes to trial with circumstantial evidence and hope for the best. Zara nods slowly. How do I contact her? Leave that to us. Victoria Hartford has been monitoring the situation closely. She's been in contact with reporters, making statements about Gabriel's pattern of manipulation, and how sad she is that he involved innocent people like you. She thinks she's won completely. She has won. Gabriel's company is destroyed, his reputation is ruined. But he's not dead yet, Morrison interrupts. And he's not in prison yet. As long as he's alive and free, Victoria's victory isn't complete. That's what we're counting on, her need to finish what she started. 2 hours later, Zara sits in a coffee shop in Midtown, a wire hidden beneath her blouse, waiting for Victoria Hartford to arrive. The FBI has coached her on what to say, how to play the role of a desperate woman looking to profit from her inside knowledge. But when Victoria walks through the door, elegant, composed, radiating satisfaction, Zara feels a rage so pure it takes her breath away. This woman destroyed Gabriel's life for sport. She lied about miracle cures, fabricated evidence, and manipulated federal agents, all because she couldn't handle being rejected. Zara, Victoria says, sliding into the booth across from her. You look terrible. I feel terrible. Thanks to you. Victoria's smile is sharp as broken glass. Thanks to me? Darling, I'm not the one who got involved with a criminal. I'm not the one who took money from a man who was stealing from families and retirees. We both know Gabriel never stole anything. Do we? Victoria tilts her head, studying Zara like a bug under a microscope. The FBI seems quite convinced of his guilt. The evidence is overwhelming, I'm told. Evidence that was fabricated by your father's company. Victoria's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in her ice blue eyes. That's a serious accusation. I hope you have proof. I might. Zara takes a breath, remembering her coaching. Play desperate. Play greedy. Make Victoria think she's motivated by money. Look, my life is destroyed. I can't get a job, can't leave the city, can't even go to the grocery store without being followed by photographers. The FBI thinks I'm Gabriel's accomplice, and unless something changes, I'm going to prison right alongside him. How unfortunate. But I've been thinking. Gabriel trusted me with a lot over the years. I had access to his office, his personal files, his computer passwords. I saw things, overheard conversations. And some of those things might be very interesting to the right people. Victoria leans forward slightly. What kind of things? The kind that might explain how someone could manipulate Gabriel's financial records without him knowing about it. The kind that might show a pattern of external interference with his company's systems. That sounds like speculation. Does it? Zara pulls out her phone, pretends to scroll through files. Because I have documentation of meetings between Gabriel and your father's technical team. Email communications about system vulnerabilities. Records of unusual access patterns that Gabriel was concerned about. It's all lies, but Victoria doesn't know that. Zara can see her calculating, trying to determine how much Zara actually knows versus how much she's bluffing. Even if such documentation existed, Victoria says carefully, what would you expect to do with it? Sell it. To the highest bidder. Maybe that's the FBI, maybe it's a journalist, maybe it's someone else entirely. I don't really care at this point, I just want enough money to disappear and start over somewhere else. And if this alleged documentation implicated innocent people? People who were simply trying to help Gabriel modernize his systems. Innocent people don't have anything to worry about. Victoria stares at her for a long moment. Then she laughs, a sound like crystal breaking. You clever little bitch, she says admiringly. You're trying to blackmail me. I'm trying to survive. By threatening to fabricate evidence against my family. By threatening to reveal evidence that already exists. Evidence of what, exactly? This is it. The moment where Zara either gets Victoria to confess or loses everything. Evidence that your father's company used their administrative access to Gabriel's systems to create false financial records. Evidence that you orchestrated Gabriel's destruction because he refused to marry you. Evidence that you lied about miracle cancer treatments to manipulate a dying man. Victoria's mask finally slips. For just a moment, Zara sees the cold fury beneath the elegant facade. You have no idea what you're dealing with, Victoria says quietly. Gabriel Sinclair humiliated me. He chose a nobody, a cleaning woman, over me. Do you know what that did to my reputation? Do you know how many people laughed at me? So you destroyed his life. I gave him what he deserved. And you, Victoria's eyes glitter with malice. You got exactly what you deserved too. A taste of money and power, followed by complete ruination. It's almost poetic. The FBI. The FBI has exactly what I wanted them to have. Perfect evidence of Gabriel's crimes, created by the best hackers money can buy. Evidence that will stand up in any court, pass any forensic examination, convince any jury. So you admit it. You framed him. Victoria laughs again. I don't admit anything, darling. I'm simply pointing out that Gabriel Sinclair got what was coming to him. And if you think your little recording device is going to change anything, you're sadly mistaken. Zara's blood turns to ice. Victoria knows about the wire. Did you really think I wouldn't have you followed? Wouldn't know about your little meetings with the FBI? Victoria's smile turns predatory. I've been 3 steps ahead of you from the beginning, Zara. Just like I was 3 steps ahead of Gabriel. The recording will show a grief-stricken woman defending her family against baseless accusations. Nothing more. Victoria stands, smoothing down her skirt. Enjoy prison, darling. I hear the healthcare is terrible. Perfect for someone dating a man with terminal cancer. As Victoria walks away, Zara realizes with growing horror that she's failed. Victoria was too smart, too prepared. The wire captured nothing useful, nothing that could save Gabriel. But then she remembers something Agent Rodriguez told her. Sometimes the most important evidence comes from what people don't say, not what they do say. Gabriel is quiet for so long that Zara begins to worry she's pushed too hard, asked for too much. Then slowly he nods. For weeks, he says. For weeks, she agrees. I want to do things differently. I want to be different. Gabriel's voice grows stronger, more certain. I want to use whatever time I have left to matter, to make up for 34 years of selfish living. What do you want to do? Gabriel smiles, and for the first time since his arrest, it reaches his eyes. I want to give it all away. The next 3 weeks pass in a whirlwind of activity that leaves Zara breathless and amazed. Gabriel attacks philanthropy with the same intensity he once brought to building his empire, but this time he's motivated by love instead of ambition. He liquidates his remaining assets, the penthouse, his art collection, his cars, everything, and uses the money to establish foundations, scholarships, and endowments. The Maria Gonzalez Education Fund provides college tuition for the children of service workers. The Saracen Medical Foundation covers treatment costs for families dealing with terminal illnesses. The Second Chances Foundation helps former inmates find employment and housing. Gabriel names the foundations after people who mattered to him. His doorman's daughter, Zara's mother, people whose lives he touched in small ways that he never realized were significant. I want to be remembered for what I gave, not what I took, he tells Zara as they work late one night, surrounded by legal documents and charitable filings. You will be. Will you help me? After I'm gone, will you make sure the foundations actually help people? Will you be my legacy? The request breaks her heart and honors her simultaneously. Of course. They spend their days transforming Gabriel's wealth into hope for others, and their nights loving each other with a passion intensified by the knowledge that every moment is borrowed. Gabriel is growing weaker, the cancer is aggressive, unforgiving, but somehow he also seems more alive than he's ever been. I understand now, he tells Zara one evening as they watch the sunset from the roof of his soon-to-be-sold penthouse. Why people say money can't buy happiness. It's not because wealth is inherently evil, it's because happiness comes from connection, from purpose, from loving and being loved. I spent 34 years collecting money instead of collecting moments. Do you regret it? The life you lived before. Gabriel considers the question seriously. I regret the isolation. I regret the walls I built, the people I kept at arm's length. But I can't regret the path that led me to you. Even if that path is ending. Especially because it's ending. Zara, if I had 50 years left, I might have taken our love for granted, might have gotten comfortable and lazy and forgotten how precious this is. But knowing I only have days makes every moment feel like a gift. What do you think about Gabriel's transformation in his final weeks? Do you believe people can truly change when facing the end, or is love just making Zara see what was always there? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes it takes losing everything to find what really matters. It's on a Wednesday morning, exactly 4 weeks after Gabriel's release from custody, that Zara wakes up and knows immediately that something is wrong. Gabriel is still sleeping beside her, but his breathing is labored, his skin has a gray pallor that wasn't there yesterday. Gabriel, she whispers, touching his shoulder gently. He opens his eyes slowly, with obvious effort. Hey, beautiful. How are you feeling? Like I'm running out of time. He tries to smile, but it doesn't quite work. I think it's almost time, Zara. She wants to argue, wants to insist that he's wrong, that they have more time. But she can see the truth in his eyes, can feel it in the way his body seems to be pulling away from the world even as his soul reaches for hers. What do you need? She asks instead. You. Just you. They spend the day quietly, talking and holding hands and sharing memories. Gabriel tells her about his childhood, about the parents who died too young and left him alone with more money than love. Zara tells him about her dreams, not just the teaching dream she mentioned before, but smaller dreams too. The desire to travel, to see the ocean, to learn to dance. Promise me something, Gabriel says as the sun begins to set. Anything. Promise me you'll live. Really live. Take the money from the foundation's operating budgets, there's more than enough, and go see the ocean. Learn to dance. Travel the world. Fall in love again. Gabriel. Promise me, Zara. Promise me you won't spend the rest of your life mourning me. I want you to be happy. I want you to have adventures and joy and all the things I was too scared to want for myself until it was too late. Through her tears, she nods. I promise. And promise me you'll remember that you saved me. Not just from prison, not just from Victoria's revenge, but from a life without meaning. You taught me how to love, Zara. You taught me how to live. Gabriel sleeps peacefully that night, his hand in hers, his breathing gradually growing softer and further apart. Zara doesn't sleep at all. She watches his face, memorizes every line and shadow, stores up the sound of his voice saying her name, the warmth of his skin against hers. He dies just as the sun is rising, slipping away so quietly that for a moment Zara doesn't realize he's gone. When she does, when she understands that the great love of her life has ended as gently as a sigh, she doesn't cry. Instead, she kisses his forehead and whispers, "Thank you. Thank you for loving her. Thank you for showing her what it means to be seen, to be valued, to be cherished. Thank you for teaching her that love is worth the pain of loss, that connection is worth the risk of heartbreak. Thank you for 4 weeks of perfect, devastating, transformative love." Zara stands on a beach in Santorini, watching the sun set over the Aegean Sea, and she can feel Gabriel with her. Not in any supernatural sense, but in the way she's learned to notice beauty, to appreciate moments, to live fully instead of just surviving. The Gabriel Sinclair Foundation has helped over 300 families in its first year. The scholarship programs are thriving. The Medical Foundation has covered treatments for dozens of patients who otherwise couldn't afford care. Gabriel's legacy isn't the empire he built, it's the lives he changed through the love he learned to give. Zara carries his picture in her wallet, but she doesn't need it to remember him. She carries him in the way she approaches each day with gratitude, in the way she's learned to say yes to opportunities instead of hiding from them, in the way she loves without reservation even though she knows it might lead to loss. She's dating someone new, a teacher named David who makes her laugh and shares her passion for education. It's different from what she had with Gabriel, gentler and less intense, but real in its own way. Gabriel would approve, she thinks. He wanted her to find love again, to build a life that honors their time together without being imprisoned by it. Tonight, she'll call her sister Emma, who's thriving in graduate school thanks to one of Gabriel's scholarship programs. Tomorrow, she'll video chat with her mother, whose medical bills are now covered by the foundation. Next week, she'll return to New York to start her new job, not cleaning apartments, but teaching kindergarten at a school funded by Gabriel's endowment. She kept her promise. She's living, really living, and carrying Gabriel's love with her like a compass that always points toward hope. As the sun disappears into the sea, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink that take her breath away, Zara whispers the words she says every sunset: "I love you. Thank you for teaching me how to love myself." The waves whisper back, carrying her words out into the vast blue world that's full of possibility and adventure and the kind of joy that comes from knowing, really knowing, that love never truly dies. It just transforms into something bigger, something that touches every life it encounters, something that makes the whole world a little brighter. Just like Gabriel promised it would.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.